Did you know that nearly one-third of all annual giving happens in the month of December? It all kicks off on Giving Tuesday. That means for nonprofits, the pressure is on. Now is the critical time to catch the attention of donors and raise awareness and dollars for your nonprofit. But how do you cut through the noise to inspire that generosity? It's all ahead today on Expert Connections. All right, nonprofits, how do you stand out on social media when everyone's trying to stand out on Giving Tuesday? Welcome to Expert Connections. I'm your host, Julie Holton Smith. That is the topic of today's show. We have marketing connections to help you make the most out of this year-end push for donations. I'm a bit biased, but today's experts are two of my absolute favorite in the marketing world. Join me in welcoming Alexis Newman, Senior Strategist at Connections, my marketing agency, along with Mary Kate Horgan. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
No, thank you so much, Julie.
I get to enjoy the brilliance of your beautiful minds every day at Connections. Now it's time to share it with our audience. So let's get right in. All month long, we have been running interviews with some of our favorite nonprofits who are doing big things, small things, lots of things for Giving Tuesday. Alexis, I'm going to start with you because I'm sure there are other nonprofits tuning in and thinking, holy, it's almost Giving Tuesday and I don't have a plan. Is it too late? Is it too late to have a plan for Giving Tuesday and the year-end fundraising push?
It's definitely not too late. Even if it is the morning of Giving Tuesday, it's not too late. There are still things that you can do to make this day a success, to make this season a success. The first thing that I would say, if you are coming up to the last minute and realizing that you suddenly want to do something and really make the most out of this day, is connect with your community. So connect with your community of supporters, reach out to people that you know are loyal supporters, regular donors, regular volunteers, and ask them to help spread the word. The more people are talking about your mission, the more those donations are going to be pouring in. The other thing that I would suggest is reach out to some of your community partners. So if you have any sponsor businesses or organizations that you work with regularly, whether these are organizations that sponsor you, donate to you, or maybe are places where you host events, spaces out in your community, contact them and ask them, can I bring some flyers? Can we post up in your coffee shop or on your corner and tell people about our mission? Just get out there in the community. Obviously, social media is always going to be there. That's a great fallback for posting about your mission, connecting with your followers, but just getting your volunteers, getting people out on the street, getting them into businesses and talking about what you do, even quickly printing up some flyers or QR codes that you can hand out and pass out in your community. There are lots of things that you can do, even if you only have days or hours to go on Giving Tuesday. There are things that you can do to make the most out of this day.
I think Alexis just gave a whole list of tactics there. So take one of them, and certainly that you could use that as your Giving Tuesday plan. Alexis, I love this idea of really getting back to the grassroots. If you don't have a plan in place, connecting with your community, supporters who want to support you. And Mary Kate, that often means social media, as Alexis said. What are some of these last minute things that people can do to really get the word out about Giving Tuesday on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Alexis nailed all the points on the head. I would start with like a posting 3 to 5 times a week. And then before the week leading up, I would post every day. You want to make urgency and you want to make it so that people remember, because it is a busy season. Everyone's getting ready for the holidays and you want to be in everyone's face as much as you can.
Absolutely. And I love that idea too. And if it's too late to really start getting those posts going, ladies, we always talk about transparency and authenticity. So, how about that post of, hey guys, like we are so busy serving our community that Giving Tuesday snuck up on us. We would love your support. And even that post right there, right?
Yep. And that's the kind of thing where you get that post out and then you start calling board members. You start calling your volunteers and telling them, we've got posts out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever those social media platforms are. Ask them to engage, ask them to share, ask them to comment, ask them to tag their friends and family in your posts so that you can get as many eyes on that content in a short amount of time as possible.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay, so it is never too late. The
Never.
only wrong answer would be to be like, oh, nope, not doing anything. No, you can post right now and get the ball rolling. Okay, ladies, I want to back up and look at some big picture strategies. So now that hopefully we've given people some breathing room, it's never too late. You can certainly get the word out. I want to back up and look a big picture. Alexis, starting with you. As a strategist, when you're looking not just at social media, but you're looking at the big picture of how to reach out to new donors, for instance. Let's start there. What are some of the things you look at when you're looking at this big, broad overview picture of how to reach out to people?
Yeah, it's a great question. The place that I always like to start, even when we're thinking of, okay, how do we bring in new donors, maybe people who don't know very much about our mission or have heard a little bit, but haven't ever been compelled to give back or to participate, is looking at your current donors, your current supporters. Where are they? Are they on social media? Where are they in the community? What are some of the things that you have seen them be very receptive to? Because those are the things that you're really going to want to focus on for Giving Tuesday, for these campaigns. Um, the stories, the mission stories, going back to your brand guide, your brand standards, your mission statement. What is that? What's at the heart of your mission? Because it's people's hearts that you're really going to be trying to touch and reach on Giving Tuesday to inspire them to give. So that's where I kind of like to start is let's take a look at your mission. Let's take a look at the things that are the most impactful, that leave the most impressions on people. What do you see your current donors really connecting with? What are some things that you've said or done where you've seen that influx of donations, of volunteer hours? And then how can we replicate those, not in a smaller scale, but in a shorter amount of time in this 1 day push for Giving Tuesday?
Absolutely, because it's not always the things that we think that are going to inspire action, right? Sometimes we are so surprised at maybe a social media post we put out there, an email that gets a big response. We're like, whoa, I spent 5 minutes on that versus this other thing that I spent a ton of time on. And so, really looking to those donors and what they have responded to is huge. Mary Kate, we also talk a lot about brand ambassadors, or sometimes we call them like our cheering squad. They might be board members, they might be other donors or volunteers, other supporters, people who have benefited from the nonprofit. And oftentimes we can tap into those folks to help spread the message. Talk about that. How do you do that on social media, for instance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, user generated content is one of the biggest things. So, if we want to call them out, like thank our donors. We work for nonprofits that we want to make sure that we get their name out there as much because they're helping our mission. They're the ones that are really the backbone of it. So, giving little tidbits of, thank you so much for donating today. Thank you so much for being a part of our mission. Without you, we wouldn't be successful.
That really resonates with all of these interviews I've been doing with all of these nonprofits all month long. Every single one of them very genuinely has expressed that their mission would not be possible without the sponsors, the partners, the volunteers who are a part of driving that mission forward. Mary Kate, is there a tactic to tagging people or hashtags, or on the kind of technical side of things on social media? Is there any tips or tricks when we're because I think the only thing worse than thanking someone is maybe not letting them know that we're thanking them on social media.
Yes, and I think you want to tag them because then that actually shows their community that they're a huge part and what they're doing on their side. And definitely hashtags, because those are things that you can always go back on. And if you click onto it, you can see what everyone is doing. You can get the user content too. Make sure that, you're staying up to date on what's trending so that maybe an idea actually that someone else is doing could impact the juice of your brain going. And
Oh,
just
I
make
love that.
yeah.
Especially if someone doesn't have a campaign ready to roll out, or a smaller nonprofit that doesn't have, well, let's face it, most nonprofits don't have a big team to work on these marketing campaigns. So let's reuse some of these ideas from others, these trending topics. Can you also talk about, Mary Kate? One last question for you. I know I'm picking on you a lot, but I kind of social media is stuck on my mind now. What types of media do we see getting the most engagement? Like, so where are nonprofits going to get the most bang for their buck, if you will, when they're creating these posts?
I always say Instagram and Facebook, but it's really everyone should be checking their insights, making sure that your users are active at specific times, making sure that you're on the right platform. Because if you're not, and you're posting to Instagram, but everyone's on LinkedIn, or you're posting to Facebook and then you should be posting to X, you never know, or TikTok. So I think not going on every platform, but really kind of honing in and making sure that the people that you're trying to reach are on those platforms.
When we talk about the types of posts, the types of content that we see on social media, Alexis, one person in particular comes to mind. We featured him as a part of our Giving Month series on Expert Connections, and that is Mark Howell. He every year goes big, and just when we think he can't go bigger, he does. So make sure to check out that episode. We'll link to that. But Alexis, as you work with Mark and his team at Fund a Life, what are some of the things that you have seen them have success with their big Giving Tuesday events?
Mark is such a good example of how to make the most out of literally every single minute of those 24 hours on Giving Tuesday. He does not let a minute go by without a story, without an ask, without a thank you, without a highlight. Mark is a really good example of how to involve your supporters in your mission. He is excellent at bringing in his mission partners and letting them kind of share the stage so that they can showcase what they've been doing, and they can showcase their community involvement. And it's great for them and their businesses. So they're always really excited to help and to come in and to support and ask how they can get involved. One of the things that I love about Fund a Life too is the way that they showcase not just, please donate to us because our mission is really great and thank you so much for donating, but they tell stories. There is no question that when you donate to their organization, you know exactly where your dollars are going and the impact that they're having. So they really emphasize that journey, that dollar journey of where does it go? It goes to them, and then how does it get distributed? What is the impact that it's having? And that's one of the things that I think they do so well, and that I think more nonprofits need to focus on, especially on Giving Tuesday, is tell people exactly where their dollars are going. Where is that money going? Do you have something in particular, a particular initiative or new program that you are going to use those Giving Tuesday dollars for? Tell people about it. What happened last year? Did you have a Giving Tuesday push? Did you get a lot of support? What kind of impact did that have, not just on Giving Tuesday, but on your mission and your organization all year long? Tell people those stories, because it just gives them a much better sense of how they're connected to the mission and the impact you're having when they can see my $5 or $10 or $100 has made this very specific difference.
Okay, I want to dig into that a little bit more because, Alexis, I happen to know I see the work that you and Mark and the team do for Fund a Life. Let's dig a little deeper. So, first of all, if anyone is looking for some creative ideas, or even just want to get hyped up about Giving Tuesday, go back and check out some of Mark's videos that he has shared. Just to give a quick overview, he goes live during Giving Tuesday multiple times throughout the day from one of their local partners, featuring local partners. But also, Alexis, in the past, you've done a good amount of work leading up to that day to prepare some of these stories. Can you talk about that? What's some of the best ways to showcase these stories?
Yeah, we use kind of a variety of tactics when we are trying to reach people, because to Mary Kate's point earlier, you want to make sure that you're reaching people where they're at. So prior to Giving Tuesday, we do a lot of outreach to people who have benefited from Fund a Life's mission, asking them to share their stories, asking them to share photos. In the past, we've had people share videos. Often we have at least one or two people actually come in on the day and tell their story and share their story. And then that content gets spread out through stories on Facebook and Instagram, through regular social posts throughout the day. We go live on Facebook throughout the day as well, and then emails. We send, 3 or 4 emails throughout the day so that people who might be, in the middle of their workday, not on social media so much, can still stay involved and can stay up to date, and they can track where the fundraising is going and what's coming up. Is someone that they might want to hear from coming to speak at the coffee house later in the day? We put that schedule together in advance and share it out with people so that they can plan their day around how they want to tune in and when.
I think one of the things that I love the most about just this concept in general that Fund a Life is following is, some nonprofits will say, well, Giving Tuesday is oversaturated. Everyone has a message, every nonprofit, everyone wants money on Giving Tuesday. And so they allow that to be a deterrent and an obstacle that they say, okay, well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to tap into that because too many other people are already doing something. But then they end up missing out on what is historically, the largest single day around the world of giving. And so Fund a Life has said, there's money for all of us, and they just embrace it, and they go in full force. What do you guys think? Mary Kate, what do you think? Is Giving Tuesday something that is oversaturated on social media, or is there still opportunity there?
I think there's so much opportunity. I think if people are thinking opposite, they're doing it wrong. Because I think when you find that person that can resonate with your nonprofit, they're a person for life because they're really believing in your mission. They really want to support you, but they won't know unless you're posting about it, unless you're letting them know and you're reminding them that we're here, we need you, and let's get ready for Giving Tuesday.
Alexis, what do you think?
You said something when you were asking this question that, a lot of times people think, well, there's so many people talking on social media about Giving Tuesday, it's oversaturated. There's a lot of people talking, but no one is telling your story but you. So if you want your story to get told, you have to tell it, because your mission is unique, it's special. You're doing something very particular for a particular group of people or for a particular cause, and you need to be the champion of that. So even if everybody else is talking, make sure your voice is out there. Put your story out for people, for it to resonate with them, for them to pick up on it. Because even if you only make one connection and one person says, hey, this mission is really important to me, I didn't know about this, I've learned something. That's one more person. That's one more person that can help tell the story of your mission, that will donate, that will volunteer, that will show up. And one person makes the difference.
Oh, I love that you said that, because I know we have one client that, in addition to all of the Giving Tuesday donations, they had a private anonymous, donor come forward with a pretty large check, a lot of zeros on that check. And so, to your point, you never know who's going to be inspired and what could come as a result of that. That leads me to my next question, which is on follow up. I know that tends to be kind of the dirty word for all businesses and nonprofits, and following up after a big event, because oftentimes so much work gets put into the planning and the actual event itself that then after the event, we're often running to the next thing. But follow up is really key. Alexis, what should people be thinking about now before Giving Tuesday in order to make sure they're capturing all of those leads?
Yeah, the follow-up is so important. That's how you keep people. So you can get them to you on Giving Tuesday or any of these major fundraising days, the holiday season, but how do you keep them all year long? It's the follow-up. We have actually been working on a very exciting rebrand for a client that's rebranding one of their flagship events. That's going to be launching really soon. Super excited about that. But one of the core elements that we have put into their new brand is this element of follow-up and telling the stories and making sure people see that dollar journey and they know exactly where it's going to. So one of the things that I would suggest is have an idea before Giving Tuesday. Do you have something where you want to put those dollars? Are they going to go to a specific initiative? Are they going to go to, to a certain element of your mission? Well, how's that, what's that goal that you're setting so that you can circle back with people and say, here's how we reached our goal, here's where we're at, here's the difference your dollars made. So that's one thing to just kind of keep in mind as you're planning and thinking ahead for Giving Tuesday. But that follow-up needs to come in all of the same areas that you did your initial outreach. So on social media, tell that story. In emails, tell that story. I'm honestly a big fan of the kind of old school traditional printed materials. Print those flyers, print those postcards, mail them out, leave them in businesses, your all of your community partners, put those things out there so that no matter where people are, they can see them, and make sure that you have that same story, very consistent story and very consistent message throughout all of those different platforms, and really showcasing for people where their dollars went and the impact that it had.
I don't know if this has happened to you guys, but and maybe this is like the dinosaur in me, but there have been times when I've wanted, especially on Instagram, to learn more or to take that next step. And in this case, for Giving Tuesday, it's hopefully donations. But it's sometimes hard. Sometimes I am clicking in one place, but it's not there. I'm clicking in another place. Mary Kate, can you talk about that? Like, what is that flow of making sure that we not only capture attention, but we have the call to action, and then the click goes or the finger tap goes wherever we need it to go?
Yeah, I think that's so important. I mean, for every post, you should always have a call to action. But if I'm looking for something, like if I want to order from a restaurant and I can't get to their website, I need to know. And then you have to kind of walk people through that. Call to action means, hey, we have 10 days left. We need you. So go over to our website and donate, or just kind of telling them exactly what to do, but not in a desperate way. It's just giving them that little, hey, this is how you do it. This is how you can help us. And what we're doing, like Alexis, going off of what she said, they want to know where the money's going. So kind of give a little story background and make sure you're giving them where to go.
Absolutely. Make sure your links are updated, whether
Yes,
it's in the
the link.
bio, and also put the link in the story, right? Like, share your reel, share your post into the story, add the link. And yes, that might mean that you're going to have to share it separately on Instagram and Facebook. We know what a pain that is, but if you want the link on both, then you have to share it on both, right? But
And make sure you
also,
don't put the link on Instagram. People do that sometimes and it can affect, you want to make sure you put the link on Facebook, put the link in bio on Instagram.
absolutely. And those are the tips and tricks that I think oftentimes get overlooked because people just don't know how the algorithms work or what they need to be doing. And I know, ladies, we have a lot of resources on our website, mconnections.com. You can head to our blog, look for these tips and tricks, and also specific to your organization and the platform or the medium that you are using to communicate on Giving Tuesday, whether that be through email, social media, print, as Alexis loves to talk about, or other digital means. We have blogs on pretty much just about everything with those tips and tricks. Ladies, before we go, any final words of inspiration or wisdom, anything you want to share to the nonprofits who have made it this far in the video? Alexis, you go first.
Okay, the last thing that I'll say is don't be afraid to ask for what are sometimes called micro donations. So these are small donations, $5, $10. And to Mary Kate's point, be specific. Tell people it's okay. $5, we'll take it. That's great. You don't have to donate $100, $200. I think sometimes people can think of those big numbers and get scared away, like, well, my, $5 isn't going to make a difference. I'm not going to take that step. Tell people it's okay. We love a $5 donation. We love a $10 donation. These are the donations that keep our organization running. So don't be afraid to even set up a campaign around those small donations. If there's a date or a number that's significant to your organization, you can do something around that. But I think just staying open and reassuring your followers that we will take you however, come as you are with whatever kind of support you want to give us. We are here to receive it and we're grateful for it, and putting that message out there.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Mary Kate, your words of wisdom or inspiration.
Yeah, I think, during the holiday season, it's already stressful enough. So I think really going back to your mission, why are you doing what you're doing? And take some time, like go for a walk, get the creative juices flowing, maybe try a different coffee shop, because those are where you kind of get those ideas and that motivation to keep going, because you don't want to lose as you're getting into the holiday season. That's where you need the biggest push. So you need to just really remember your mission. Why are you doing what you're doing? And try something different. My best juices flow when I go for a nice walk. I'm outside, I'm getting like the cool air, and all of a sudden I have all these ideas. Bring a notepad, because I've gone before and I'm like, oh, I forgot what I was excited about. But that would be my best bet. Take care of yourself and really just hone in on your mission.
I love that. Great words of wisdom and inspiration. Ladies, thanks so much for being on the show. My parting word of advice would be it is never too late to start. So if you don't have a plan, don't worry. Just get started. You'll be grateful that you did, and we're always here to help. Alexis and Mary Kate, thanks so much for being on this episode of Expert Connections.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Julie.
All right, that is all for this episode. You can check out more in our Marketing Connections playlist. And of course, I'll see you back in the next video.